Hello, everybody. Oh, there are quite a few people. This is amazing. Well, I am late for my own show, which is rather scary. And as you can probably see, I'm sweating all over. So my apologies for that. I'm so excited that there are so many people already. I'm sure a few more will be joining in a moment. So a very, very warm welcome. Great to see you again. My apologies for sometimes not being able to make it every week. Last week was the time difference between Europe and the US, where I am at the moment. So I just thought it would be easier to just postpone it by a week. And I have also been absolutely and madly and crazily busy. I'm sure you have as well. So I'm all the more grateful and pleased and excited that you are all here. Just looking at the comments, it's so nice. There are some names I don't recognize. There are some new people. This is just so lovely. This is meant as a time to just kind of reconnect a little bit, to feel the connection to Reiki, to get inspired, to get some new ideas, to connect with like-minded people. And it's just meant as a moment, as half an hour of peace and reconnection in what otherwise is an absolutely crazy world. And it is just very unfortunate when we look at the world, the state it is in at present. I've been working on a new book idea for quite some time, and I have finally been able to send my proposal off. So I'm working on very high speed on that, and let's see how that all goes. It's a different perspective of understanding why the world is in such a difficult state and what we can do to really change things. But there are so many people I do recognize as well. So it's just so wonderful to have you all here. The fact why I am, I look so drenched, is because I just had a bath. And for me, a bath in a tub is a Reiki self-treatment. I give it Reiki. I just connect to Reiki and place my hands in the water and let Reiki flow. I often, as I did today, I use the different Reiki symbols. And I started with the power symbol and really felt the deep physical relaxation. I'm then moving on to the harmony symbol and feel more intuition and guidance and stress reduction. Then I open my heart with the use of the connection symbol, and I feel I can really feel this opening and the warmth and the love, which is just absolutely wonderful. And I use the master symbol and really feel I'm opening up to the highest levels of guidance in the universe. Of course, these are all just tools, and we can do that without the symbols, and we can connect all the way through these different vibrational levels, and that's just absolutely extraordinary. And what's a pretty exciting development for me recently is that I've started, and it's still in reasonably early stages, but I've started giving psychic readings, and with the help of Reiki, with the help of crystals, and with some techniques to really open up to my spirit guides, the results are quite extraordinary. So at the moment, I'm just reveling in this new dimension that I found for myself. And I know so many people are having this opening, and it is just some kind of part of Reiki to become more psychic, to understand more, to connect much more deeply with other people. And so often when we learn Reiki, we learn you use your hands. You connect to Reiki, and then you use your hands on yourself if you've got a problem, and on others if they have a problem. So it's often very problem oriented, even if the problem is just stress. But of course, many people have a lot of problems, and they are on all levels. I've just met somebody who had a cancer diagnosis. So there is so much need for Reiki in this world, and this is why it's so wonderful to have this tool, to be able to do something, not just to give people a hug, but to really help with their well-being and help the body to reset itself and to start or to deepen and accelerate the healing process. But when we are told using Reiki for yourself, there are different takes on that. Of course, when I cut myself in the kitchen, I just place the hands on it, and then well, it gets better. This is when I burn myself, when I bang into a door frame or something like that. But even for, of course, more serious illnesses, self-treatment is extremely helpful and extremely important. But the way I learned in my very first Reiki course, when I learned Reiki 1, and really didn't quite believe I could ever do it myself, the way I learned it was to use it more as a meditation technique, as a regular ritual, as a set time every day where I give myself Reiki and I connect and I feel and I deepen the connection. And ever since I have used that, and I did put it in my email, I think yesterday, I must have given myself 5,500 or 6,000 Reiki self-treatment so far, because I literally do that every single day. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing is to start with a self-treatment. And as it is with treatments or with things you learn, when they resonate with you, you don't really tend to change them. So the way I do the self-treatment is exactly the way I learned it in my very first course. And I understand that this is a technique that goes back to Hawaii Takata, the Japanese American lady from Hawaii who learned Reiki in Tokyo in the 1930s and then brought it back to Hawaii, then to mainland USA and Canada. And from there, it really mushroomed into the world. So she came up with this idea. It is not an original Japanese Reiki practice as far as I am aware. In Japan, there would be different techniques. Deep abdominal breathing with Reiki and feeling it filling your body and your aura, or just following your intuition where to place your hands, even to scan the body where you need the self-treatment. But for me, it is so easy, so simple, and it works just so well because it does cover all the major chakras to give yourself a self-treatment with set hand positions. Sometimes I do all of them, sometimes I do only some. But what I realized recently, and that's really interesting, my self-treatments are getting longer. I used to do them for about 20 minutes, sometimes 15, 20, or 25 minutes. Now it's often 35 minutes or even 40 minutes. And it's obviously because I need it. And I tend to find that these self-treatments sustain our energy. They replenish the depleted energy levels that we have. And how I do them, I just see how have the self-treatments helped you. Well, if I'm in pain, I feel better afterwards. But for me, it is some kind of special energizing treatment. And I do it in the morning. I know some people do it before they go to bed. I do it in the morning. So I set the alarm for whenever I get up, or just set it a bit earlier actually. Then I set the alarm again for half an hour later. So I know even if I doze off, or if I suddenly start a process of thinking and lose track of time, I will still be on time. And then I just start with the self-treatment. And what I would actually like to do is to guide you through a self-treatment, how I do it. Now, what you hear in the background, and I hope you don't hear it in the background, at least not too much, is all sorts of shredders and machines to cut off branches of trees. So when I woke up this morning, I didn't know that this was planned. There were, I don't know, 3 trucks or so outside the house where I am in LA at present. And they are cutting down these beautiful trees. It is just horrible. My papa and I were looking out and thought, this is terrible. We looked out into the greenery and now is nothing. It's all cut down. I guess it's necessary. Otherwise, it would just overgrow everything. But I wasn't aware they would certainly take so long. It's never been so intense, and they've done so much. So I do hope it is still going to work for you, the guided self-treatment. Otherwise, please just kind of turn the volume down a little bit. I can't connect any headphones, at least not the ones I would normally use, to the laptop at the moment. So I guess we need to live with that. But what I find is interesting, even if we have some disturbance, if we have noise in the background, Reiki still works, and Reiki still calms us. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope that works. I would just like to show you how I do it. And I can't show it to you completely, but I will try as best as I can. So when I start with the Reiki treatment, I just connect to Reiki. And then I just place one hand on the top of my head and one on the back. And I normally do it not seated, but lying down. So whatever feels right for you, wherever you're comfortable, wherever you are at present, find a comfortable position in a moment. And then I bring my hands to cupping them over the eyes and then over the ears. And then around the throat. And this is how I do it. Some people place one hand in front of the other. And now you can just see I move that up a little bit. Then the next is the level of the heart. Next is the solar plexus. So it's pretty much along the chakras, which is interesting because the chakras weren't originally part of the Usui Reiki teachings, but somehow they must have crept in when Hawaii Takata came up with these hand positions. So the level of the heart, then the solar plexus just below the rib cage. Then let's see if I can move further. Then the navel chakra just below the navel, and ultimately the root chakra just at the end of the spine, wherever you feel comfortable. And that's really important, not to strain yourself, not to kind of move in awkward positions. Just place your hands towards these energy centers. And this is what I do. So it's 8 hand positions. And if I do it 3 minutes each, it's 24 minutes. 4 minutes each is 30 minutes, just over 30 minutes. And sometimes I do it even longer, and sometimes I even stay longer in one place, just because I feel there is so much going on. It gets so warm. There's so much happening. So let's just see if there are any other questions. Just as I'm there, before we start, there's a question. All teachers are different. Do you think there are any benefits from having multiple Reiki trainings? If I'm honest, I actually do think so. I trained with a number of different Reiki teachers, and Sometimes it was just one or two techniques or ideas or wordings, even perspectives, personal stories that took me further in my development and that I found helpful. So I would indeed encourage training with different Reiki teachers if you feel drawn to that. But training doesn't mean that you have to necessarily take another course. If you watch a video, there are quite a few online these days, or of you, if you read a book or if you get a newsletter and just read an article, this is all part of training. Or, of course, talking to other Reiki practitioners and getting their experiences and hearing their stories. So I would love to invite you to do this little moment round of self-healing together. Hopefully, as an inspiration, if you don't do it or if you don't do it in this way, to just see how it feels, to do it for a week every day. You don't have to do it in the morning. If you want to do it during a lunch break or in the afternoon or even indeed before you go to bed, absolutely you can do that. So I think I still have some water in my ears from the bath. I'm slowly cooling down, which is very, very nice, very helpful. So thank you for bearing with me. So I would like to invite you to just follow me on this guided self-treatment. Or if it's really too noisy, then maybe you just want to switch off the sound at all and just from time to time look at the screen and then just follow the movements of the hands. So when you're ready, just connect to Reiki. And just wait until you feel the connection. And then you can place one hand on the top of the head, on the crown. It doesn't matter, it never matters in Reiki which hand you use unless you are intuitively drawn to using one hand rather than the other. And then the other hand on the top. I can't really turn around that much. I think that's a little bit better. And just relax. Make sure to relax your shoulders. Just lean back if you like. Just close your eyes and let Reiki flow. And I will let you know when to move to the next hand position. And then the next position is to moving your hands to your eyes and just gently cup them over the eyes. If you wish, you can have your fingertips resting on your forehead and the heels of your hands on your cheekbones. And the next position is over your ears. And then the next position is placing the hands on the throat or in front of the throat. And the next position is the level of the heart, your upper chest. Just moving along a little bit. Next is the solar plexus. The next position is the navel chakra, just below the navel. And finally, the root chakra, the base chakra at the end of the spine. Then you can bring your hands up, take a moment to thank Reiki, and come back into the here and now. Now, I found this particularly strong and intense. So I don't know whether it was already a bit of a Reiki share that we were doing, and because everybody was connected here and doing it at the same time, it felt more intense, but it was really, really powerful, I feel. So yes, of course, it does help with physical problems, with pain, anything with anxiety and with stress reduction. But for me, primarily, it helps to raise the vibrations. It helps to align more with the level of Reiki, with these higher vibrational levels in the universe. And this, for me, is what makes it so special, this Reiki treatment. And interestingly, even the National Occupational Standards for Reiki, which is like the curriculum, the basics of how Reiki should be taught in the UK, they state that it is necessary to have regular self-treatment as a Reiki practitioner. So this is really very much part of the Reiki practice, to not just give Reiki, but to use Reiki for yourself, to raise your vibrations. And ultimately, of course, we are on this amazing journey from using Reiki, from connecting to Reiki, to becoming Reiki and raising our vibrations to a level that we are Reiki. And as usual, I mean, this really was already some kind of Reiki share, but I would just like to invite you to join me for a few moments in a Reiki share, and to, of course, join everybody in a Reiki share who is here right now and who will join at a later stage. And we set the intention to connect with everybody so that even if you are watching this as a replay, you will still feel the Reiki energy from everybody, and we are already feeling yours. So again, when you're ready, connect or reconnect to Reiki, and then set your intention to connect with everybody on this Reiki share, everybody who is live here and everybody who will join at a later stage in a replay. Maybe even you want to join again in a replay later. And then you can use the connection, the or distance symbol, whatever you call it, if you have learned Reiki too. Otherwise, you just set your intention. And if you've learned it, then just take a moment to draw it. And then just feel the connection with everybody and let Reiki flow. Don't let yourself be disturbed by the background noise that you may hear from my surroundings or that you may hear wherever you are. Reiki will work anyway. And if you feel you need to stretch or move, if you feel you need to take a deep breath in and then the long, slow breath out, just follow your intuition just allow your body and your mind to react to Reiki, to let go so that you can open more and more to the higher vibrational levels of Reiki. And then you can slowly bring your hands back together, take a moment to thank Reiki. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back into the here and now. And I love that there are so many questions today. There was one question whether we have to clear the energy in our space and then invite Reiki in. Well, if we need to have clear energy in order for Reiki to work, we'll never make it work. There's always something. So I would strongly argue, and this is how I use it, to just trust that Reiki will work through whatever stagnant energy is there, whether we've been angry, whether we've been upset, whether we've been anxious before, whether we are very, very stressed. Reiki will allow to raise our vibrations and to let go or to simply rise above these levels. But of course, when we meditate, when we just sit there for a few minutes before we start with Reiki and we breathe in, and on the out breath, we just let go of anything that bothers us, we are creating an amazing and pretty empty and clear space. And we may feel Reiki in slightly different and particularly powerful ways. So either is possible, either is absolutely okay, but please don't think you have to clear any energies before you connect to Reiki. That's the whole idea, that Reiki is doing this. And this is driving me crazy now. This sound, I don't know if you can hear it just now. I think the big shredder, Laurie with the shredder, has been switched on again and eating all the wonderful trees and branches that were around here. Well, let's hope something is still left afterwards. So I'm so grateful that we are connecting, that you were here, that you are here, that you will be watching a replay, and I really look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful rest of the week, and see you next week. And of course, given that I need to do all this stuff myself, I need to find the right button, and there it is. Bye bye.